everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So, it was the 90s and Warner Brothers, they really wanted to have a piece of that pie that was the successful animated Disney features that had been coming out for a few years and racking up both commercial but also critical success. So they made the Swan Princess, which basically took all the tropes and all the cliches and all the things that, made the Disney movies great, and they, trotted it out. It didn't become a huge hit at the box office. It did become a pretty big hit on, home entertainment, which, paved the way for a slew of apparently quite horrible sequels, which I'm not going to review today. Unfortunately, I am going to have to review this almost 100% stinker. This is the Swan Princess. So in a kingdom far, far away, well, not that far away because we still have to have a movie of some kind, we have this king who has a daughter, Odette. And he has this friend who is also a king, sort of, from another kingdom, who has a son called Derek. And they cook up a little scheme together. What if, my daughter and your son, who is of similar age, would, marry each other? Wouldn't that be swell? So the two children are forced to, spend every summer in each other's company. The idea is that they will eventually, fall in love with each other and in a natural way, and we won't have the classical, you have to, marry this guy because I say so, blah 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 blah. But they don't really like each other that much in the beginning, and mostly tries to, play pranks and stuff on each other. But this is also one of the few occasions where this movie actually really works, because they're actually allowed to have, some kind of character here. Because when they grew up, they basically took an industrial vacuum cleaner and sucked every little ounce of a character that they once had. And they are so bland and so uninteresting that I couldn't have cared less about them. But somehow they are still going to get married and they sort of fall in love, sort of. But Odette gets a little bit annoyed at Derek because, when she asks him why they want to marry me, and he says that, well, you're so beautiful. Well, and what else? What else? There is nothing to you or to Derek. You are good looking and that's the only thing you are. But because he told her the truth, she's a bit peeved and she goes away and then she disappears. The thing is that she has been kidnapped by a guy called the Rough Bart, which is a weird name for a villain, animated or not. He was, a shit disturber who wanted to overthrow the kingdom once in a while, but, the king sent him away. By the way, why is all these kings and people in power, why do they always send away people who, holds a grudge against them and have an axe to grind and, want to overthrow the government and stuff like that? It always comes back to bite them in the ass in the end. Just ask Thulsa Doom how that worked for him in Conan the Barbarian. Anyway, talking about a much better movie. So, Rough Bart kidnaps Odette and brings her to this very somber and very beautiful prison. Maybe the most beautiful prison I've ever seen in an animated movie, where he explains his very, very complicated and convoluted plan that makes no sense. In fact, it makes so little sense that the Nostalgia Critic has devoted almost an entire episode to how much this stupid thing actually do not work. So I'm not going to, talk that much about it. Needless to say is that it's a very convoluted thing where he tries to, convince her to marry him, but she refuses, and she is turned into a swan, and she has these side characters. This frog played by John Cleese. I didn't even notice that this was John Cleese until the end credits, and this very, very, very annoying turtle that has about the same amount of joy and energy to him as a dried up corpse. Jesus Christ, they were so annoying. So Derek at this time is planning to try to save Odette because he loves her. Is he doing this for any other reason than, well, she's beautiful? I don't know. But he's just obsessed with trying to find her. What is Derek doing to get Odette back and find her? Well, He is shooting at his servant with the medieval equivalent of paintball. Well, that will get her back surely. What? It doesn't? Well, fuck it then. But he's also trying to find out what is going on here. But then we have a lot of filler. There is so much filler in this one that some influencer thinks that's a little excessive, mate. Tone it down a little bit, because we don't have that much plot and we have to stretch out this stupid nonsense somehow. We have horrible jokes, we have horrible characters, we have uninteresting song numbers. Usually I do not like song numbers in animated movies as it is, but this one was egregiously bad, especially considering that most of these songs are not sung by our main characters, which should be the focus of the plot. Okay, because some dipshit forgot to charge the microphone, it went out. You're going to have to do a do-over. Fine, I'll do that. So, and an even bigger problem is that we absolutely do not care about what's going to happen to them. Rough plan is, as I said, one of the most stupid, nonsensical and idiotic plans in the history of villain plans ever. And also, there's also one point where they do that, Little Mermaid rip-off thing, where it's obviously such a violation to what, he had told us before that he was going to do that. It was sort of, what? This is stupid. So, stupid villain plan with a horrible villain. We have two uninteresting main characters who has no chemistry together. Now, in Disney movies, usually we have these stupid things where people meet for half an hour and then they decide they love each other. In this case, they've spent, considerable amounts of time together and they still have absolutely zero chemistry. And also, it should be mentioned that not even the villain song is good in this movie. And usually, I hate all of these animated movies with all of these song numbers that seems to be there to just pad out the runtime so we can reach those 90 minutes. But usually we have one great song in all of this thing, and that is the villain song. And just look at Anastasia. In the dark of the night. My God, that Rasputin song is so fucking great. They don't have that here, and the movie suffers severely from it. The Swan Princess has almost no redeeming qualities to it whatsoever, apart from the arguably very, very gorgeous prison setting where she's turned into a swan and stuff like that. There is almost nothing here that has any creativity to it when it comes to the animation. And as I said, a horrible villain and two main characters that you don't care for even the slightest. So this is one of the worst animated movies I actually ever seen in my entire life. It's lame, it's bland, it's boring, and it just takes so long time to get to the very predictable ending that when it actually happens, you think it's phew, now I'm finally done with this. I was at one point thinking about giving this movie at least 15 points, but then I was thinking about all the bad stuff that happens in this movie, how bland it is, how uninteresting it is, how stupid the villain plan is, how bad the song numbers are, and there's just all these -1s that keep sucking everything out of this movie. It wasn't that good to begin with, and the stupid plan, the bland characters and all that stuff that just makes this movie quite a miserable experience when you're thinking about it. And the villain's brain-dead, inconsistent plan is just a cherry on the sundae. When I started this review, I was inclined to actually giving the Swan Princess 15 points, but the longer this review went, the more I realized that this movie can only get 11 points. My God, this is horrible. So I'll see you next time for so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.